Hey everybody, and welcome to a on-location episode of The Grid Live. I'm Scott Kelby, and I'm here with Rockin' Rob Foldy.
What's up, everybody?
He's not really Rockin' Rob.
Not currently.
It's just Rob Foldy. Anyway, so we're very glad you're here. Now, if you're wondering, you said you were coming from Fort Lauderdale, and we thought it would be real exotic and all. It is right out there where it's pouring rain.
Every day at 4 o'clock.
Every day. So we set up this outdoor thing, and it looks really cool. We were poolside, and there's all these like cool yachts lined up at the dock, and it is pouring outside there. So this is not how I imagined this show would go, but it's kind of like that. All right, we are taking your comments. So we are broadcasting directly to my Facebook page. So if you're coming over from our Ustream feed, it's facebook.com/skelby. And we're getting your comments already, and someone shared it. Oh, someone says no sound, but then they said there's the sound. Yay.
Everybody
all
good?
Right, so good to see you all here. Daniel's here, Roseanne's here, Jen Coffin is here. Yay. All right, thanks to everybody back home who's watching us at the studios and helped us be able to do this remote broadcast. Our topic today, that was Rob's iPhone crashing to the floor.
I have Apple Care.
I have Apple Care. Our topic today is how to make it in freelancing. Now, we did something like this with Brad Moore. Now, Brad is going to be here today.
Soon.
But Brad's flight doesn't land. Careful planning had Brad's flight landing just after the grid starts. So at some point, you may see Brad pop in the show later.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing my seminar here tomorrow, and of course, Brad's on the tour with me. But look, it's Rob Foldy.
I'm here.
All right, so we are taking your questions here. I'm monitoring the feed. So some interesting things. So at the beginning of this year, so you've been freelancing for quite a while.
About 5 years full time.
About 5 years full time. All right, but you haven't been shooting that long.
About 6 years.
About 6 years. This is terrible. He's such a good photographer.
But I've been a freelance something or other for most of my life.
He has been.
Yeah.
Freelance. He was a drug dealer for an amount of time.
Don't tell that on the internet.
No.
Kidding.
Nobody cares. It's the internet.
No, I played drums for a little bit, and I DJ'd for a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
he DJ'd, he played drums, all right.
Yeah.
So I have great respect for all that. But so then you started doing photography, and so at the beginning of this year, Rob and I were talking, and he says, I want to set myself a goal this year. He says, I know how much money I want to make as a freelancer, and I'm going to set myself on a path to get that. And you're 6 months in, and you're on track. Now, I'm not going to tell you the number he told me, but it was a very aggressive number, and I'm like, you're going to have to work really hard to hit that number.
And I did.
And he's hitting that number.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think it's a really interesting story, because I know that there's a lot of people that would love. I talk to people every day on my seminars that go, I hate my job. I want to quit it, and I just want to be a freelance photographer. And I always tell them, I go, that's cool, but you got to hustle, right?
Yeah.
So how many days a week are you working, do you think?
8.
8 days a week?
Yeah.
You're like, every time I talk to you, you're someplace else.
Driving usually. Yeah. Drive a lot, fly a lot, travel a lot.
Now, Rob lives down here in Fort Lauderdale, in the Fort Lauderdale area, and you do a lot of driving. I'll talk to him. Now, I don't know how much you know about the geography of the state of Florida, but it's the size of Italy. So I will talk to Rob, and one day he's in Miami, and the next day he's in Jacksonville. It's got to be like 5 hours, or Tallahassee. 5 hours.
My drives average 4 to 5 hours a day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how often does your client pick up your travel expenses?
As much as I humanly can do it, yeah.
What would you say the average is?
About 70%.
About 70%.
Whether it's full mileage reimbursement, or at least I can get fuel out of a lot of people. But a good majority of my drives now. They weren't when I started. I used to drive all over the state and shoot on spec, which was quite the challenge there. But now, luckily, I have some really great clients, and they take care of me pretty well.
That's great. And you've also been doing some assisting for some famous people.
I love assisting, and that's something we're gonna get into a little bit later. But I think assisting is one of the greatest ways to learn and kind of get better at what some of my goals are. If they're things that I haven't done yet, but I have friends or other photographers who are doing things that I'd like to one day do. I love assisting for other people and kind of just seeing how they run their business.
Now, I just remembered you were on the grid in like December, right? We were on the holiday
about
set.
Instagram, yep.
Yeah, we were talking about Instagram.
Yep.
How's your Instagram gig going?
Better than it was then, yeah. I learned a lot from that show, and I think you did a Kelby 1 class on that afterwards.
Yeah, I did.
And so took a lot of those pointers, got Icono Square.
Icono Square is great,
been
isn't it?
just keeping kind of better tabs on my, using it strictly for business now. I went and cleaned up my feed, tried to keep it like a unified front.
Yeah, because we had talked about that. Oh, the comments are pouring in.
Nice.
We had talked about that you were just kind of sharing a lot of behind the scenes photos and stuff.
I was all over the place.
Yeah, you were all over the place, and I think that is a key strategy. Do you think on any level that the Instagram thing is helping your business in the big picture?
I like to believe that it is. I think like we talked about then, it's not something that I can like tangibly say, okay, well, I've been doing this on Instagram and it's translated directly to these jobs or this income, but I'd like to believe, and maybe my clients want to give me some feedback on that, but I'd like to believe that at least what I try to believe is it shows consistency. Like a lot of photographers can make good pictures, but whether or not they can do it consistently is debatable. So I like to believe if I post something, hey, this is what I shot today and this is what I shot a week ago, hopefully it's not just, oh, here's the best images I shot for the past 5 years, but I like to believe that it shows consistency, which hopefully translates to more work.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I talk about that in my seminar tomorrow, in creating a look and being able to deliver that same look or quality consistently is really tough, because the client can't hire you and go, oh, I had an off day.
Yeah.
There are no off days.
Not a passable
There are no
excuse.
off days. All right, I'm going to look at some comments here for just a second and see what we got. Rose Kieran wrote, freelancing is a great way to go. Be your own boss.
Absolutely, yeah.
And she wrote, be your own boss. All right. And then here's Domenico Dentist. Says, hi, Scott. We met at the Birmingham photography show, which was wonderful. All right. Oh, somebody says, what happened to the hand? Okay. So this is a carpal tunnel syndrome issue. So I'm writing a book, and anytime I write a book, at some point, it's time for the grip. And I'll take it off tomorrow, like when I teach my seminar and stuff. But if I'm doing a lot of writing or working or something, I wear this, and especially, when I really need to wear it, I don't really
skateboarding.
No. Yes, only when I'm doing tricks on my skateboard. No. I need to wear this when I sleep at night.
Okay.
That is when, because I went to a doctor about it, and she said, you know what it is? You're messing this thing up at night. So
Is it because you're wearing your Apple Watch and it's too heavy?
the Apple Watch is so heavy that it drains your... you can't even see my Apple Watch. It's really, really bad.
Hi, Lynn.
I want to look at some of your comments. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to look at some of your comments, but this will give me at least 45 seconds to a minute to look at some of your comments. So stick around. We want to hear your questions. If you have questions for Robbie, just drop them in here on my Facebook page. We got lots of, look at this, Dave Williams. Hey, just landed from Sweden. Perfect timing.
What's up, Dave?
All right. So Dave, everybody knows Dave. All right, we'll see you guys in a minute. We're live from Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Rob Foldy right here on The Grid. Don't go away.
The next hot shot is out of reach. One brand stands alone to let you take it. Meet Max. June 1st, Kickstarter only. 30 days. Please don't miss it.
Where can you get the world's best photography, Photoshop, and Lightroom training? Where can you get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors? Where can you get hands-on live shoots and workshops? Where can you get 3 non-stop days of networking and Vegas excitement? Photoshop World in Vegas. Photoshop World. Sign up today.
In a world where the next hotshot is out of reach, one brand stands alone to let you take it. Meet Max. June 1st. Kickstarter only. 30 days. Don't miss it.
All right, so we just heard from the home office, and they said the audio was a little low on the commercials. So Rob and I will act them out for you. Come to Photoshop World. So this That
I don't
was
know what the commercial looks like, but I'm assuming
Wait, you're going to be at
that's what it was.
Photoshop World.
I will be at Photoshop World.
Yeah, you will.
Year
so
2.
he's moderating one of the peer-to-peer
round
panels
tables,
on sports photography, and you're working in our natural light shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
So he will be everywhere. You're also covering the event. You're doing photography.
I do tend to do photography a lot. Yeah.
Anyway, so Photoshop World is coming up in next month, and this Friday is the cutoff for the $100 discount. So we're inviting you to save $100 now. Register now.
And it's awesome. Last year was my first year.
Yeah, it was your first one.
It was awesome. It's they do a great job advertising, but really once you get there, it's a great week. There's great vendors in the expo side. There's all the greatest instrucors. The classes are awesome. It's a fun little community. It's like an adult summer camp.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a lot of fun.
It does have a very community feel, and I've had people tell me over all these years, they go, I go to a lot of conferences and stuff, but there's something different about this one, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you're all together sharing your passion. So picture if you went to like a convention that taught you how to play golf, and everybody there was a golfer.
I need to go to one of those.
Or whatever your passion is. If you love football, and everybody there was a football fan, imagine the conversations and stuff that would happen. Well, it's kind of like that. Everybody there is a creative person. You're a photographer, you're a graphic designer, you're a video editor, whatever. It's just tons of fun. We hope you'll join us. Go to PhotoshopWorld.com. Register before this Friday. Right? Yes, this Friday. All right. Okay. So anyway, we're back with your comments, and we just saw a really good comment from a viewer. Let me get it back up here.
And to paraphrase, I think it was said that to be a freelance photographer takes a lot more than just taking pictures.
Yes, it did. I want to give credit to the person that asked that, because I thought that was really good. I want to find the person's name. Rick McRae says there's much more to freelancing than just taking photos. So, yeah, we're gonna we just liked your thing. So we're using the world's first touchscreen
laptop,
MacBook Pro. Now it hasn't been released to the public yet because it's really just my phone. But people were like, what? And we'll probably be answering for that on social media tomorrow. All right. So what are the other things? I mean, obviously you have to be a good photographer.
So I think you spoke on, some of my personal goals was just to have a better control of my business this year. I like to think that my photos have been okay, and something I constantly work on is making my photos better. But this year, one of my real tangible goals was running a better business. And so there's a couple steps that I took to do that, but that has been what I've seen has made the biggest difference, is just trying to be a more business-minded person instead of just focusing on, I'm going to take the best photos as I can, which are important, because at the end of the day, that's what we are, we're photographers. But running a good business is what I feel separates the men from the boys.
But can I tell you something? I think one of the reasons why you hit your goal was because you had a goal. He knew exactly how much money he wanted to make. He thought, man, if I could make this much money. And I think if you're going to be a success in anything, having a stated goal. Yeah. My goal is to reach this number.
Which I learned from Peter Hurley at Photoshop World last year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right here.
And this isn't a shameless Photoship World plug. That's honestly where I learned
dude, we appreciate shameless Photoshop World plugs. We encourage them often. All right, hey, just to say this. Oh, I thought it had stopped raining. It's just stopped pouring, but I can see in the water. I wish you guys could see. We're in the Hilton Fort Lauderdale Marina, so it is directly across from the convention center where I'll be doing my seminar tomorrow, and. They have their own marina, and if you go outside this side where we were just a moment ago,
we were at Tiki Bar.
The biggest yachts you've ever seen. I mean, like 200
Yours
foot
is
yachts.
out there, right?
Mine's just it's a rowboat. Anyway, it's just gorgeous here. We hope to share some of that with you. It doesn't look like that's going to happen today, but anyway. So, but I really do think one of the keys to your success. Obviously, your photography is very, very good, but it's knowing what you were trying to do. And I think that for a lot of people, just going, I need to make this much money. And you did it in a good way. You were like, here's how much my rent is. Here's how much I want to be able to spend on liquor. Here's how much, It was a series of things like that. They were all mostly petty.
Mostly rent, because I live in Fort Lauderdale. So rent was a big one.
Is rent expensive down here?
Yeah.
Very?
Yeah. I live in the bathroom of one of those yachts, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So lots more comments coming in. And actually a lot of people, I want to say hi to Martin from Germany who's here.
Did you lose weight? You did. I noticed that when I walked.
Somebody, he said the same thing. Did I lose weight? Okay, yes. I have been dieting like the son of a gun. I'm down 21 pounds. I got to get down another 10 before Photoshop World, and then after Photoshop World,
we're gonna go for a run on the beach tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we're gonna first thing in the morning. We're running Baywatch in slow motion too. We're running. Let's give him a preview. It'll be like that. Anyway, so thank you for noticing. That's the happiest thing you can ever say to a person on a diet. Anyway, let's see. And let me just refresh here because the comments are coming in so fast. Sometimes it's kind of hard.
You have a lot of notifications, man.
I do have a lot of notifications. Can
I take that picture? Oh, no.
No, that Brad took that picture. All right. So here we go. Wow, we got a lot of comments. Okay, so Ron Fontenot asks, I photographed musicians on stage, and he went, the concert class at Photoshop World really lit my fire.
Another shameless Photoshop
I love shameless plug. I didn't know who it was until I started reading it. I love shooting, but hate the business part of it. Need tips to get over that.
You just have to. I mean, I hate that. I was in your boat 110%. And the truth is, if you want to do it for a living, you have to suck it up and just get better at it. What I can tell you is, I wasn't very good at that part, so I've hired people who are.
I was just going to say that. So some of the best photographers I know, and I'm not going to give names because it's not really my place to do it, but some of the most successful, close your eyes and picture, really successful photographers. A lot of them have an actual business manager, not an agent. Not an agent. This is someone that works with agents,
just there
that does the day-to-day, that does the billing, does the invoicing and all. If you're bad at that part of it.
Let me just interject for a second. A problem that I didn't know that I had was how many clients didn't pay me. No offense to any of my clients. I'm sure it's not their fault directly, but I work for some pretty big companies, and my assignment editors are all great, and I'll submit an invoice, and I'm sure they submit it right away to the accounts payable department, and then the ball gets dropped somewhere. Again, no offense to any of my clients.
Of course.
I didn't know how many of my clients, I'm done with it. I shot the assignment, I handed the photos off, it's done in my mind, I'm on to the next thing. And as I started, so I put everything in QuickBooks, which I probably should have been doing years ago, but I wasn't. So now I kind of match up my invoices with my QuickBooks invoices and try to stay on top of everything. And there was a lot of like high-end clients that I wasn't getting large checks from. That unfortunately was probably flying under the radar for the past couple of years, which is embarrassing, but that's why you have to stay on top of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you know what, that does happen, and you're right. It doesn't happen for malicious reasons.
No, absolutely.
It's just stuff falls through the cracks, and if you're not staying on top of it, they'll be like, oh, son of a gun, I thought we sent that out.
Or there was a check, again, embarrassing, but I'll just be real with you guys. There were checks that I'd forget to cash just because they came in while I was out of town or whatever, and I'm like, okay, good, I saw that check came in, but I'd forget to deposit it, and then I'd have the client call me saying, hey, we have this outstanding, can you? So yeah, staying on top of your P's and Q's is really important.
These questions are so good. Jim Kearns asks, question for Rob, what is the biggest hurdle or fear to overcome when you first considered going into the freelance business? And there's two questions, I'll get to that.
Okay.
So what was your biggest hurdle?
It was scary, man, because So I've been freelancing, like I said, doing various things for a long time, but I always tried to keep some sort of what I call W-2 income, some sort of reliable, I get a paycheck every 2 weeks kind of job, just so I knew I had some sort of foundation to sit on, and then anything I made freelance would hopefully be above and beyond that, but I knew I wasn't just completely relying on freelancing. And I lost that at the beginning of last year, and that was a big, scary moment for me, but it kind of like, tossed me into the water to learn how to swim. Like I was forced to just really just step my game up and to rely on my freelancing. And it's scary, but now that I've been doing it, I try to base my numbers off last year's numbers and average everything out and kind of know what I'm coming. And another big thing, Tim Wallace, Photoshop World, shameless plug, was talking about not having all your eggs in one basket. For the past couple of years, I had some big clients, and I love working for those clients, and if I had my way, I'd work for them exclusively, but I realized all my eggs were in one basket. So now I try to diversify a little bit, just to make sure, heaven forbid, a company closes down, somebody merges, somebody
that
whatever.
Happens. These days, it happens all the time.
I want to just make sure that I'm not going to be hung out to dry if one of my clients, for some reason I don't work for them anymore.
All right, so Jim has the second question. It's all a part of one question, and this I'm going to ask it in two parts. So what are the biggest pitfalls of freelance work?
I work a lot at this stage. Now, I've only been doing this full-time for 5 years. I know there's guys who've been doing it 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Those guys probably have their business run a little bit differently. For me, just to stay at in my life, I work a lot. And because, like you said, my fear is next month I'm not going to have any work, which hopefully that won't happen, but that's a fear of mine. So when work comes in, if I'm not booked for that day, I try to take it.
Right, no matter what it is.
So
right.
because of that, I work a lot. I probably work double the amount of hours that people with a 9 to 5 do. No offense to 9 to 5ers, but that's just the nature of what we do. Because again,
I understand.
and so much of this job, like we talked about, isn't taking pictures. And before, I just shoot an assignment, I deliver the pictures, I go home. I spend now half my time making invoices and double checking and checking my Instagram analytics and marketing and doing all that kind of stuff. There's so much when you run your own business, there's that whole business side of it that has nothing to do with photography. And so that takes up just as much time. So before, I'm like, okay, I'm booking this shoot. It's going to take, I'm shooting from blank to blank, deliver the pictures, that's done. No, I have to put in a whole nother day of invoicing and researching and doing this and doing that. So there's a lot of stuff both sides. And so the biggest pitfall is I don't have a schedule. I don't know I'm going to work this many hours a week. Here are my hours. I come, I leave at 5 o'clock, I check out. No, I'm always on the clock.
You're always on the clock.
Yeah.
So I want to ask the second part of this. What are the rewards of freelance work?
If I want to take off a Tuesday and go to Disney, I can.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
do you do that a lot?
No, I can't afford Disney. But no, but the rewards are I am my own boss, so when time allows, I can make my own schedule. And although I'm always working, I'm also sometimes always not working. So
now you get to do a lot of fun things. You've been doing a ton of travel, didn't you? So last week, Rob sends me a text, and it's a picture of him like in Barbados, and he goes, I forget what he wrote. He wrote something like, my day today in Barbados, or my office today. And I have somebody in the office take a picture of me at my desk like this, and I look all depressed, and I send it back to Rob and go, this is my work day. This is my office.
So yeah, again, I have some great clients, man. And this year I've just been really blessed to be able to go do some really cool things. I was in Barbados for a week with the Miami Dolphins, and was in Vegas for another week, going back out to Vegas for Photoshop World, was in North Carolina last month. Last month I was gone the entire month. I was home for 4 days.
Wow, really?
So, yeah.
Well, there's another pitfall.
Yeah.
Hey, let's see.
Or benefit, you know what I mean? Like, I love traveling, and so I get to travel the world on somebody else's time, which isn't necessarily the worst thing either.
So there's a question here from Johan, but I'm not sure exactly what he means here. So Johan says, what do you need to get from a TFP
I know what he
shooter?
means. Yeah.
Now, does he mean time for print shooter?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Trade. Yeah.
Yeah, a trade trader to become a freelance photographer, not only gear-wise, but also experience, quality, etc. So I guess what he's saying is, and so for those
What
of
do you need to get from a?
Yeah.
So, like,
well, let's
so
discuss what TFP is for people who don't know.
So it's like trade for print, or time for print. I think people phrase it different ways.
You're doing something for them. They're doing something for you.
So in the modeling world, I believe that means you'll photograph them for free in return.
You'll give them the images.
And you'll give them some images in return for they're not charging you their day rate or their sitting fee.
Right.
So neither person is getting paid monetarily, but it might benefit your portfolio, might benefit their portfolio. It's a mutually beneficial.
How do you move from that to be able to charge?
It's hard, man. Slowly. For me, it was slowly. I didn't start with, $1,000 day rates. I started with, hey, can I have $50? Can I have gas money? Can I have $100, $200?
Can I tell you two strategies that I've heard of? Yeah. Now, these are for people that are in that exact situation, because you're not doing so much of that. But
no, not anymore.
Well, not
I started,
yet.
Yeah.
Well, even that genre, but
no.
two photographers who were doing TFP, right? They were doing this trade for print, or what do they call the trade for? There was another one. Anyway, but it's that thing. One of them was, so this guy created his own look, and he did like a Hollywood, like pinup style,
okay.
And then he was charging, like, I'm not making this up, $1,800 a shoot. And he would go, if you want this look in your portfolio, it's $1,800. And I provide, he provided like hair, but you had to bring your own makeup artist. And it was like,
wow.
And he would say, I have 6 slots in the next 2 weeks. He would sell them all out. But that was
I'm in the wrong kind of photography.
But the thing is he had a look, and he had that look down.
Yeah.
And if you wanted that look, and I talk about this in my seminar too, having something that people are willing to pay for. And mostly models are thinking, you're paying me, right? But this guy's work was so unique, they're like, I'll pay him because I want that look in my portfolio.
Yeah.
That was number one. Number two, this was so clever. So let's say that, now you live in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
We're going to pretend you live in Miami.
Okay.
All right. So there are 3 big places for fashion in the United States: New York, Los Angeles, and Miami. Miami is 30 minutes from here.
Can I say something?
Please do.
I know a lot of photographers down here that are in Miami. Very few of them live in Miami. We all work in Miami. I'd say 90% of my work is in Miami. I don't live in Miami.
Okay.
So I live 20 minutes from Miami.
So we can call you Miami-based fashion photographer Rob
I say
Foldy?
South Florida sports, but yeah.
Miami-based?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Absolutely.
So here's what they do. Let's say that Miami-based photographer is going on vacation in Denver. Sorry, it's kind of loud here. We're like in the lobby because it's raining.
Yeah.
Still raining, by the way. Still raining. Okay, so if Rob would go to Denver, here's what Rob does. Rob goes into Denver and goes on all the local modeling boards and all this stuff and goes, hey, I'm a fashion photographer based in Miami. I've only got 7 slots to do shots. Sign up at this address. It's $900 per person. I'll give you 2 different looks, and just lay it all out.
Yeah.
And I've heard people that they sell out immediately.
Yeah.
If you're from Los Angeles or from New York or Miami,
Yeah.
you go anywhere in the country. You go to Detroit, you go to Arkansas, you go to Little Rock and say, a Miami-based fashion photographer is coming to town to help people build their portfolios. And you just rent a studio and you go, I got 6 slots. You will sell them out like that. But the part of it is the cachet of you being, if you go, I'm a Jacksonville, Florida, all 6 slots will remain empty.
Yeah. I mean, and that helps. I've noticed even, I was based in Gainesville, Florida for a while, go Gators. And, sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I've noticed even, so I'll still do work up in that region, but since I've moved down here, it's like people almost look at you with a different air because I don't even know why that is. But like now that
It's
I'm,
perception.
again, Miami-based,
It's perception.
you go back
It's
to those
absolutely.
quote-unquote smaller markets and people, it's the same place. I can shoot anywhere.
I know.
can shoot in Arkansas. I can
But
shoot
there is
anywhere.
a perception that the best photographers would be in Miami, Los Angeles, and New York. I
And
mean, it's just
but that's where the work is. That's why I moved down here. So I'm a sports photographer, right? Like I had to, if I wanted to stay busy and to make a full-time living, I had to go to where the sports are.
Hey, speaking of sports, Rodney Rogers says, I know Rob Foldy. I've shot with him at
Oh, what's
sports
up,
events
Rodney?
and worked with him in the past. Love his work and some of his new angles to shoot, some of his new angles to shoot the same old shots. He is great. So, what is your Instagram? At Rob Foldy?
At Rob Foldy, yeah.
At Rob Foldy.
Thanks, Rodney.
Dude, some of his stuff, Rob sends me shots sometimes, and I'm like, I mean, you really have a great eye for it.
Thank you, man.
Let's see what else. So, Sanatul Islam says, interesting topic today. I've decided to freelance too.
Okay.
I made the decision, but I'm afraid if I would succeed. All right. So that's kind of the.
That's normal. Yeah.
That's a normal thing. I think everybody, because you're basically saying, look, I'm going to sink or swim. I'm either going to make a living at it or I'm going down the drain. It takes a lot of guts.
And you know my story, but like I said, kind of that whole being thrown into the water to being, to have to learn how to swim, that's what did it for me. Because like when you're forced to do it, you just have to do it. You're not given a choice. If I wanted to not live under a bridge and I didn't want to starve, I had to find a way to make it work.
Yeah, you did. Okay, we're going to take a short break. Now, I want to tell you a few things before we go on break. Number one, we only have one commercial today because we're on the road, so you're about to see the same commercial again. Number two, tomorrow, every Thursday at Kelby One is new class day, and tomorrow we are releasing 2 classes, and guess who the instructor is? I did them both. Boom. All right.
What are they on?
One of them is on backing up your photos and backing up your Lightroom catalog.
Okay.
So here's the thing, your Lightroom
So
catalog.
not that skip button that I hit every time I'm in?
Don't hit the skip. Well, you got to watch the class. But this is about, first, the very important thing of backing up your photos.
Okay.
Then it's about backing up your catalog. Your photos and your catalog together, that's your library. And I go into all the different stuff, and I show you things about Lightroom you need to know, things about Lightroom that can
In a world where the next hot shot is out of reach, one
did we lose our
brand
feed?
stands alone. In a world where the next hot shot is out of reach, one brand.
Okay,
In a
so
world where the next hot shot is out of reach,
our feed is
one
freaking
brand
out. We hear from our tech
In a
here
world
that
where the
our
next hot shot is out of reach, in a world where the next hot shot is out of reach, one brand stands alone to let you take it. Meet Max. June 1st, Kickstarter only. 30 days. Please don't miss it.
Will hear us. back.
Okay, we're back.
We're here.
So, we had a little broadcast problem there. And what we were going to say before the commercial was two things. I got 2 new classes coming out tomorrow on Thursday. One is on backing up your photos and backing up your Lightroom catalogs. And now I've completely forgotten what the second one is. It's another Photoshoppy thing, but it's something. Go to
We're going to stop and say
KilbyOne.com.
thanks to Jordan for manning the technical side.
All right.
He's holding it down back there.
All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Oh man, there's all kinds of stuff in here.
These are good.
Okay, Jeffrey May says, the secret of freelance. Sales, sales, sales. If you cannot sell, you will fail. Your photography is second to be able to sell your product. You know, I think this is a...
I think that's depending on which style of photography you're in.
Well, I don't think they mean sell the final prints. I mean sell the client on using you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you know what it is today? A lot of people can shoot really good. A lot of people have really good cameras. A lot of people can take a great photo. Why are they going to hire you if their cousin's got a really good camera?
Yeah.
Why would they hire you?
It's a great question, and one that I face every day.
Yep.
Again, I think it goes back to that consistency thing. And I've only been around, like we were saying, like 5 years, 6 years, however long. And there's guys that have been around for a long time. That can be a benefit to them. That can be a benefit to me. Some people kind of are slower to adapt to kind of the way the industry is changing, and some people are a little more modern about that. So in my line of work, I can transmit on deadline, which is huge. You know that from doing sports stuff. So I can get photos out during a game as soon as the game's over. So my turnaround's a little bit quicker.
You shoot a lot of sports, but you don't just shoot sports.
I do not shoot sports exclusively, no.
Hey, Rose Kieran says, because this is following up on what we were just talking about, Rose says, it's a matter of studying up ways to convince people to use you. I would love a business manager. Wow. She goes, is that going to be your wife? Are you going to marry your
I don't have
manager?
No.
Now, you have a girlfriend.
I do have a
and
girlfriend.
you have a dog.
And I have the most adorable dog in the world, yes.
Actually, the most adorable dog is here on my phone. Do you know that Maggie the Wonder Dog was on the grid the other day?
Oh, was she?
Live on the grid. It was amazing.
Well, I'm never going to beat that, but...
All right. Bruce Wunderlich says, artists are right-brained, while accounting is a left-brain function. That's why we need help in organizing things.
Yeah, and it's... I try to break that into two different sides of my business. And I just have to mentally make the shift from shooting, editing, all the creative things, to the bookkeeping, the scheduling, the invoicing, all that kind of stuff. Which, again, isn't good for me, so that's why I hired an accountant.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else, too? You need time to shoot. You need time to be creative. Because I think a lot of your time will be sucked up on the business time, and you need some help. I don't know, even if it's just a part-timer to handle the invoicing, like you said, following up.
Just so you know, I'm not paying anybody full-time salary. This person maybe works 5-10 hours a month on my stuff. So it costs me at the end of the month $100, $200, which is totally worth it because they're helping me bring in way more than that. So it's worth whatever I have to pay for them for the peace of mind and keeping all my finances in order.
Our friend Ken Tony says, I'm into drones now, and I'm getting ready to sell all my stuff. Then he goes, not. All right.
That's funny.
So Peter Treadway said, is this, Peter, our friend from the UK. Hi, Peter. Everybody in the UK watches us. You know why? Because we air at 9 o'clock at night in the UK.
Oh, not 4 o'clock on a Wednesday.
And people in the UK are awesome. All right, so Peter Treadway is a particularly awesome friend of mine from the UK. He says, is this a regular thing now or just to promote the Facebook feed? So what we're doing, Peter, just so you know, is we will always now broadcast, broadcast to Facebook. But because we're using this new remote rig today that we can do the grid anywhere, this is our first time trying it out. As you saw just a moment ago, we had a little kind of a crazy thing with the software that we're using. So this Facebook only is just for this episode until we figure out all the other stuff. Now, we'll be able to do multiple cameras and computer feeds and all kinds of other stuff, but we thought we better start off small.
Yeah.
We better start off where it's not going to rain. Is it still? It's not raining now,
Oh, look,
is
it's
it?
cleared up. I told you. I said a half an hour. It's 4:33. Called it.
You did. I don't think we can actually. I was trying to think if we can take a break and go out there.
Yeah, run outside during commercial?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Because we have a door right behind us where we can just shoot right out. But let's get to more of your questions here.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to. All right. Somebody's
Wait. I saw something down here. Something about struggling and good pictures and tough to get pictures.
Okay, Connie Turbeville, if that's right, Turbeville, says it's tough to take good pics. It's tough to take good pics as you struggle with the business side of things.
Can I weigh in on that?
Yes, please.
Okay. I agree. And sometimes when I work too many days in a row, I'm just lackadaisical, not on purpose. I get up and I want to give 110%. I'm just tired because I'm traveling and I'm working. So that's part of the reason I tried to find help to take some of those. I can't replace myself taking pictures. I can't replace myself editing. I could have somebody else do the invoicing. I could have somebody else do, and that was in a book that I read, The 4-Hour Workweek, was that if there's some parts of your business or your structure that you can outsource to somebody else, let them do that part, because it allows you to do the things that only you can do. And so I agree, it's hard to do both. It's hard to spend your time in an office stuck behind a computer and go out and do the thing that you want to do. I love taking pictures. I don't love sending invoices. I let somebody else send the invoices. I focus on the taking pictures.
All right. So I just want to mention something for you guys that are in the Facebook feed. So it is kind of the thing for people who are in the grid chat to have their own conversations that are separate from what we're doing. It's just a thing, and we welcome it. So if you see people in Facebook kind of getting off topic, it's just how it is on the chat, because we have a lot of friends and a lot of regular viewers who come together each week during the grid, and then they talk to each other like, oh, hey, how you doing? How are things? And all, and they go back and forth. And sometimes they'll start on our topic, and then they'll have their own subtopic. So it's different for the Facebook crowd that's not used to it. People that come and see us like on Ustream, which will, of course, next week we'll be back on Ustream.
Yeah, I tried to, on the old grid structure, I tried to log into that chat a few times. I gave up. I'm like, this is too much. I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, Facebook works. And we've got, so interesting, so far, Facebook has put this in the feed of 166,447 people, which is pretty amazing. All right, and so let's look at some more comments here. Steve Wilson asks, how often should photographers update their DSLR bodies? I've been shooting a Canon 5D Mark II for years, but I feel like I'm lagging behind my peers. I want to stay competitive, but I don't want to be upgrading just for the sake of gear envy.
I can tell you, man, the 5D Mark II is a great camera. I shot Mark II for a long time. I have the Mark IIIs now as like a second or third body. I shoot the DXs primarily, but the files out of that thing are fantastic. I think they're 1 or 1.5 megapixels smaller than the Mark IIIs, but the files out of the 5D Mark II are great. I would try as much as you can not to get caught up in that. I shoot sports a lot, so it's hard to stay competitive without that latest, greatest gear, but in portraits especially, man, the 5D Mark II is a super great camera. I would just focus on the work, man. Like, a lot of times I'll use my newest camera as like my primary body. I'll use older cameras as remotes, or just kind of like gamble photos that might come out or might not come out, or I'll keep a wide lens on an older body and keep my long glass on a modern body. And a lot of times my favorite pictures come from those older camera bodies, even today. So it's really, it's not about the gear, man. It's about, your eye, your perspective, and how you can how you can use whatever equipment you're using to make the best photos. I mean, in Barbados, I brought my iPhone, and I borrowed some little micro 4/3 thing from a buddy of mine. I didn't even bring, besides the DSLRs we were shooting with, right. I brought, just for personal stuff, I just brought like a little micro 4/3 camera, and I think the photos from that came out, it had RAW, the files came out great.
So Steve, I would add one more thing on to what Robbie just said, and that is when you need to upgrade your DSLR, when you actually have like a reason. So for example, if you said, I need better video, or I need better lower right capabilities, or there's a camera that does something that you can't do. You know what I mean? It's like, I think sometimes that just because there's a new version out doesn't necessarily mean to buy it unless it does something. Like, for example, Canon introduced the 1DX Mark II. All right, I particularly wanted to get that camera because it has more frames per second, and for sports, that's a big thing. I didn't want to get it because it's the new camera. I wanted to get it, and you know what? I just got mine this week. It's taken a long time. I'm sorry. But anyway, but I wanted to particularly get it because it had some things in the autofocus and in the frames per second things that I particularly wanted. Like, that will help my work.
Yeah.
So I can't be honest with you and go, if you go from a 5D Mark II to a 5D Mark III, it's going to change everything for you because it does this. I mean, I have a 5D Mark III. It's probably my main camera I probably shoot the most with. In fact, that's what I'm shooting with tomorrow at my seminar.
Yeah.
So I love that camera, but I can't say that the reason why I got a 5D3 is like when I finally moved to Canon, that's what was available.
I mean, you can still make frames with those older cameras. They're just not as new, so there's not as many bells and whistles. The 5D Mark II, the reason I upgraded wasn't because the files didn't look great. It was because it had 9 focus points, and the 5D Mark III has, I don't know, 40, 60, bajillion.
Yeah.
And for me, the focus points were an important thing because I can say I wouldn't have to focus and recompose. I can put the dot where I wanted it, and that kind of lines up more to where, what's up, man? To where I shoot. So, sorry, I got distracted there for a second. But yeah, you can make good pictures with anything. Like I said, I use a lot of the older bodies as second or third or fourth bodies, and you can still make great stuff.
All right, Rose Kieran says, I'm looking forward to the Lightroom class for my pupils here in New Zealand. And says, pleased to see you were back. Some study for a rainy weekend. All right, so let's see. Okay, there's Peter Treadway's going back and forth. I have to remember that some of these conversations are
cut to
crazy.
commercial real quick?
Hey, we're gonna take a short break. Don't go away. We are broadcasting live from down here in Fort Lauderdale. We're at the beautiful Hilton Marina in Fort Lauderdale, and Rob Foldy's here. We'll be right back. Don't go away. You're live on the grid.
In a world where the next hotshot is out of reach, one brand stands alone to let you take it. Meet Max. June 1st, Kickstarter only. 30 days. Please don't miss it.
Where can you get the world's best photography, Photoshop, and Lightroom training? Where can you get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors? Where can you get hands-on live shoots and workshops? Where can you get 3 non-stop days of networking and Vegas excitement? Photoshop World in Vegas. Photoshop World. Sign up today.
In a world where the next hotshot is out of reach, one brand stands alone to let you take it. Meet Max. June 1st. Kickstarter only. 30 days. Don't miss it.
All righty. We are back. All right, Scott Kelby here with Rob Foldy live, and outside it's kind of clearing up. It's getting better outside. Not good enough for us to actually go outside quite
Probably
yet.
wet.
So it's not exactly what we had hoped for.
Oh, thanks, Miss Calibra.
All right, Miss Calibra just chimed in and said hi. All right, so I just saw a really good question, and if I can just pull it up here on my touchscreen
MacBook
Pro.
Hints.
So this is for you, of course. This is from Florian Gainar, and he says, hey, from Sweden first, so that's kind of cool. So what's the best way to get new clients? Like, how do you get in touch with them and make them hire you? Boy, this is a...
Make them hire you. I don't think I've ever made anybody hire me.
Hire you.
So in my industry, and I think in a lot of different sides of photography, a lot of it's... I heard a very interesting quote a couple years ago. Who you know gets you there, what you know keeps you there, right?
Oh, say it again?
So who you know gets you there, what you know keeps you there. So you have to, the work comes first and foremost. You have to be good at whatever it is you do. So
right.
Drumming, you have to be a good drummer.
You're going to have a lot of one-night gigs. You do a
Yeah.
gig and they never hire you again.
Yeah, which happens, and it happened very early on in my career. I probably overstepped my bounds, took a job that I probably wasn't ready for, shot it, and they're like, oh, thanks, and then never called me again. Yeah, I like to believe that doesn't happen now. So, and again, it's not 100% your work as much as it is, are you easy to deal with? Are you going to show up on time? Are you going to be professional? Are you going to represent, if you're representing a brand bigger than yourself, if you're on a shoot you did some work for Coca-Cola, they want to make sure that you, if they're going to associate their brand with you, that you reflect back positively on them, and there's somebody that you guys can partner with. So, I just try to connect with people that we have similar outlooks, like we have similar, the brands are the same, or just, we mesh well. I like where they're going. Luckily at this stage of my career, I don't have to take every job that's sent my way. I take a lot, but I don't have to take everything. So I love the clients that I work for, and the pictures that they would like me to make are the pictures that I enjoy making, and that kind of makes it easy. And then, again, a lot of it's who you know. So you might have met this guy. So, for example, I shot the NCAA track and field championships, and I was there on behalf of 2 different universities that had hired me, and I met a lot of other universities in the workroom. So whether it was the sports information directors or other staff photographers, and then, if they like you and you like them, and everything vibes well, the next time they have something in Florida, maybe they'll call you. Because, everybody, like you said, a lot of people can take good photos. What sets you apart?
You said something really important there. So, number one, I totally agree with you. You're going to get your foot a lot in the door because you know somebody. But you have to deliver for you to ever get that work again. But you know what? Being easy to work with. I know, and I don't mean this in any disparaging way, but I know a lot of photographers, and you probably do too, where you look at their work and they go, their stuff isn't that great. But you know what? They're on time. They're easy to work with. They're likable. And people hire photographers that they like. This isn't the fashion industry where you have to have a name and you have to be from Italy or France and then all that kind of stuff. This is, or Miami, of course. But this is, in most of real life, you know who you wind up hiring? People you like.
Yeah.
And if you go to the job and you do a good, consistent job.
And the same thing works on the client side. There's clients that are pains in the butt, that they're not the first people I'm bending over backwards to take their assignments. You know what I mean? But like I said, luckily I love all my clients now, and everything's great.
But that is really a thing. You being able to deliver a very pleasant experience, like working with them. Like when you go, hey, you want to hire Robbie? And they go, oh, I love that guy. Ding, 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 ding. Your phone's going to ring, and so does your wallet. If they're like, he was really good, but he was kind of a pain to work with, and he was a little sticky, and he was a little bit of a prima donna, because you have to get to a point where, because there are some people that they'll put up with you because you're so good, but that's not mostly the case, and that's not most of the jobs you'll get. Most of the jobs you're going to get through a friend, and then they're going to call you back because you were such a pleasure and joy to work with.
And I know the opposite. I know guys who, by a lot of people's standards, maybe aren't the best photographers. I don't know how to say that delicately.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they still get jobs over other people because they have a friend that works at that place.
No, that's also well.
But that being said,
like your foot in the door.
that just proves how strong some of those relationships can be.
All right, some more questions. So thank you, Florin, for opening that thing. Mark Wood says, "Hi Scott, following advice from Tim Wallace."
That was fantastic. I can't wait to see
Tim is awesome.
his business class.
I made a career change, and now I'm a full-time automotive photographer over here in the UK.
Mark, follow me on Instagram so I can see your stuff, buddy.
I agree with Rob. I work harder than I did in my previous career. The tips on Kelby 1 have improved my workflow. Well, Mark, we love to hear that, of course. That's, as educators, that's what we do it for. Yeah. So thank you very much. Great to hear that. And very best wishes to you on your career. I would love to be an automotive photographer. Yeah. I mean, Tim got me started. I'd never shot a car.
But your stuff's great. The stuff that I've seen you've done is awesome.
There's a whole nother level. And like this guy's making his career, you have to be on a whole nother level. But I'm doing it as a hobby. But to do it where a car company or someone's going to pay you, you're in a crazy level.
He made a great point, which is, you know what? Even though I'm working harder than I ever did it, and I've worked my fair share of desk jobs. You know the old quote, like, if you love what you do, you can never work a day in your life. Right. I wouldn't change a single aspect about my life right now. Like, although I work my butt off and I might work 80, 100 hours a week, I love what I do. I love my clients, and I love what I get to do.
So Rob is actually older than he looks. And so when you were talking about getting tired, he's 61, and he looks very,
so
very
I've only been
young.
doing this for 5 years, which is impressive.
Is like really,
I started
he's like
mid-50s.
56, yeah. All right, Jen Coffin just posted in our forum here. The other class that I couldn't remember is Lightroom CC in depth. It's called Unlocking the power of the adjustment brush. Now, even if you don't have Lightroom CC, you can still watch the class because 99% of it is still in there. But so if you have Lightroom 6,
Oh, what's
it's
up, Nick?
fine.
Is that the Nick Burrows?
It
Oh,
could,
what's up, man?
It could be Nick Burrows that you know.
Nick Burrows, reach out to Brad Moore or Alan Hess. Those are the two dudes that come to the top of the mind. Or
should we say what his question is, or should we just mention?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Nick
My
Burrows
bad. This
says,
is my first day.
is it even possible to make a career out of doing mainly concert photography? You know what? I think it is.
I would assume it's
And certainly-
equally as difficult as making a career out of sports photography.
Can I tell you something? And I'll just be straight with you because I talk to photographers all the time. There is no easy way to make money in photography. Period. There's no genre that it's like, oh, you just go and money comes in. It's. Do you know why? It's so competitive. There used to be 10 people in town that could shoot a wedding. Now there's 500 people
There's probably
in
10
town.
people in town who can't shoot a wedding.
Yeah, you'd be easier to find
Let me
people
touch
that
on something
can.
that you touched on for a brief second earlier. I like to consider myself a sports photographer, but if I'm being honest, I take other jobs that are not sports photography jobs. If my phone was ringing off the hook with sports photography jobs every day, I'd be, happy. They're not. So I take other jobs that I might not advertise. I still like them. But just because this is my job, I need to pay the bills. And so whether they're assisting jobs, I always try to take jobs that are going to benefit my career long term. And that's where the having goals thing kind of comes in. If I start to set a weekly goal, a monthly goal, a yearly goal, a 5-year goal, I can kind of keep those things in the back of my mind as different jobs come along. So I'm like, okay, well, this isn't necessarily what I want to do right now, but maybe, I assist for, Joey Wright.
Sure,
good friend
Joey.
of Kelby.
Very, very
done
good
stuff
guy.
for
Yeah, he wrote
blog
for Light.
posts and
He's
did
done blog posts. He's written for Light It magazine. Yeah,
and did Photoshop TV, whatever. He's done stuff
awesome.
for you guys. He's phenomenal. So I do stuff with him. That dude runs his photography business better than most people that I know. And so we're friends, and it was to a point where he was kind of going through some assistance, and I'm like, you know what, man, I would love just to, he's my buddy, so I get to go hang out with him on set, just like I assist you, right?
Yes.
I like hanging out with you.
Yes, he has assisted us.
And you have a pretty successful business, if I may say so. So
Thank you. You're very kind.
I like, what's that quote? I had it earlier. Like you are who you become or you are the company you keep, right?
Right.
So I try to, if I want to be a successful freelancer, I try to be around successful freelancers as much as I can. So I'll take jobs assisting, or I'll take jobs shooting something that I might not want to do long term because I learned something, I benefit from that, and I know one day those skills will come in handy for something.
Well, yeah. So one of my buddies is the team photographer for an NFL team.
Okay.
And he told me straight up, I make more of my money doing non-football stuff.
I think I know who you're talking about. I know he does.
And he makes all his money doing shooting weddings, doing meet and
Senior
greets,
portraits, doing
senior portraits,
yeah.
doing what, and so.
But he's really good at that stuff.
He's really good. He's really good. You have to be good. At the end of the day, it all comes down to
but again,
that.
and he's shooting for an NFL team, so it's not like there's probably a Tim Wallace level where he shoots whatever he wants, but a lot of us just take other work. I don't put it on my website. One of the things I learned is you don't want to flood your website with a variety of stuff. Because I'm like, well, what is he good at? Is he good at sports? Is he good at this? Is he good at that?
Right.
So I only showcase the work that I want to get. That doesn't mean my phone doesn't ring for other stuff.
Right.
And I might just take it. I just don't put it on Instagram. Not because I'm ashamed of it in any stretch of the imagination. It's just not how I want to brand myself.
That's how he wants. It's branding. Okay, so we only have a few minutes left. We have a couple more questions, but we are going to have a giveaway. Now, I didn't bring a book with me to give away. I don't really have anything to hold up and go, we're going to give away this. But we have books in our warehouse, and I'm going to give one of them away today. So, you know what? So I was in Orlando 2 days ago with my seminar, and shout out to everybody that came out in Orlando. I had one of the best crowds of the entire year. They were just so into it and so energized and so much fun. And when you've got a crowd that's really giving it to you, it's just you want to give it back. And
Same thing in music.
Yeah, same thing in music, exactly. So when the crowd's into it, you're into it, and you both lift it
All right,
up.
Fort Lauderdale, step it up tomorrow.
It was that kind of day. It was just the most fun crowd. And you knew it from, Dave gets up and does the morning introductions before he brings me on, and he's doing his introductions, and the crowd was already with him, and you're like, this is going to be a fun day.
It's like when they're yelling for the opener.
And it really was. So thank you to everybody in Orlando. But anyway, people brought my Light It, Shoot It, Retouch It book in. I signed more of those books than my new books yesterday. People were bringing them from home and talking about how much they loved them and all. And then when I look at that book, I think of one thing. how hard that book was to do. Every single shoot in the entire book we staged for the book, and we had to mount a camera up in the ceiling of every single, and I was telling this woman in Orlando about one of the shoots, and I said, we had to go to a movie rental, a movie house that does movies in Manhattan, rent a giant boom, like a boom you not a light stand. I mean, this thing was, it had to go up like 20 feet because you have to get wide enough to see the entire shoot from up above. We had to get a truck to move it and all. It was just like, So when I see that book, I know that it's got a lot of fans, but I always look at it and just, it's
We
a
worked
hard
really
book.
hard, but it paid off.
No, it did. It came out very happy. So I'm going to give away 2 copies of the book, Light It, Shoot It, Retouch It. And we're going to give away a Corey Barker's brand new book. It's called Kick-Ass Photoshop Effects. And
that guy
it is a
kicks ass
kick-ass
at
book.
Photoshop.
It is a kick-ass book.
And is a super nice guy, which is why he gets work.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's a super nice guy who's really talented.
Yeah.
So anyway, and of course, Corey will be at Photoshop World. Did I mention Photoshop World?
Shamelessly?
Shamelessly, did I mention that Friday is the last day to save $100 on the early bird discount? Did I mention Rob Foldy will be there? I will be there. Lots of people will be there. You should be there too. All right, so here's where you go to enter the contest. Now, we usually bring it up on screen, but we're not going to be able to bring it up on screen.
What's up, man?
But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to remember the place where the contest is, which is kelby1.com. Okay.
I think you're good, man.
You know what? We're going to take a short break.
Yeah, we're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break. We're going to show you the same dang commercial again.
We're live.
We're live, so we're going to take a break, and then we're going to be right back. Don't go away. Rob Foldy here, Scott with the Grid, live on location, not out in the rain. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
In a world where the next hotshot is out of reach, one brand stands alone to let you take it. Meet Max. In a world where the next hotshot is out of reach, one brand stands alone to let you take it. Meet Max. June 1st, Kickstarter only. 30 days. Please don't miss it.
Where can you get the world's best photography, Photoshop, and Lightroom training? Where can you get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors? Where can you get hands-on live shoots and workshops? Where can you get 3 non-stop...
Oh, Meredith. Okay, we're back.
on.
All right, we're back. Okay, so you can see we're having a little issue with the commercials running, but you saw the commercial anyway, so
It's
really
live TV.
it was just letting us
It's all
stall
over.
so somebody could get past us and get over to the other part of the lobby here where we're at. And we are in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the beautiful Hilton Marina. And
We were outside, it was raining.
It
If
was
you're just
raining,
joining us,
and they were
blah,
kind
blah,
enough to
blah.
let us come on in here, and we only have a few minutes left. So Meredith
So
luckily
talking
put-
about freelancing, part of freelancing is rolling with the punches.
we roll with the punches. So Meredith just put the link for the contest. I believe it is kelby1.com/webcast-contest.
Is it at the
But
top? Where is it? It's somewhere.
it's somewhere here. I'm looking for it, but there's a lot of comments to go through.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's in there.
go look right there in the comments section, and Meredith from our crew posted the link, so you'll be able to find it. And there's just too many comments here to find it. I did see.
Down, maybe?
You see it?
Maybe?
No.
No.
No. All right. So you know what? We are pretty much just about out of time anyway.
It's there. Trust us.
It's there. Trust us. All right. Well, first, so we were trying this. This is an experiment, us broadcasting live like this, and
It went.
it went. I think we have we're still working out some of the kinks, but the fact that we were just able to do it all was great. You were awesome. Thank you very
thank you
much
for
for
having
being
me.
on the grid. Where can people go learn more about you?
So I have a website, robfoldyphotography.com. I think it's facebook.com/robfoldyphotography and at robfoldy
On Instagram?
Instagram.
Are you on Twitter at all?
At robfoldyphoto.
You know, it's great to have a name like Rob Foldy because that way everybody can find it. You don't have to go Rob_Foldy12 or anything like that, which would be very sad. Hey, so we want to thank everybody for watching. We want a special thanks to all of our friends in the UK who faithfully come every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and they all go to a pub, right? You all go to a pub together, and they drink and all. And I don't know, I never saw Dave Clayton in the chat, but I know that he's out there because Dave Clayton is
Is he coming
awesome.
to Photoshop World?
Dave Clayton is
Dave,
coming to
can't wait to see
Photoshop
you,
World.
buddy.
Hybrid Preter's coming to Photoshop World. Dave Williams Williams is coming to Photoshop World. Everyone is coming to Photoshop World.
You should
be too.
By Friday, $100. Did I say that right?
Man, it's very good.
Nice.
Hey, and also my assistant Lynn just sent me a text and she said you said the right address for the webcast.
Awesome.
So
Hi,
it is
Lynn.
kelby1.com/webcast-contest. I can't believe I remembered that. All right. Oh, Dave Clayton just joined in. So look at that. We mentioned his name and he appears like
his ears were ringing.
in a puff of smoke.
He was in a puff.
Well, thank you guys so much. Just want to mention this was broadcast to 268,963 people
you,
on
Facebook.
Facebook today. Thank you very much, Facebook, for sharing the love. And thank you guys for watching. We will catch you next week. We're going to be in the studio. I believe we're going to be doing a live shoot next week, or at least showing a shoot next week, because there's something secret coming that we want to show you next week. So I can't tell you what it is because I'm still sworn to secrecy. It's under an NDA.
Oh, non-disclosure agreement.
Non-disclosure agreement. But we will be disclosing that next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We'll be back in the regular studios. I hope you'll join us then. Thanks to Jordan for doing all of our tech work here. And thanks to Eric and Meredith and the crew back at the offices for working out this brand new location broadcasting rig. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks from here
everybody.
in Lauderdale. Take care, everybody.